All right. Oh shoot! I just missed the bus. No, come on now. Look at the bus. See if I can catch this bus. Hold it there. 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 Come on. Oh shit! Come on, dude. You gotta drive off. Look at this. Look at him. Look at that. You see me coming. See, this is the shit that they do, right? You see me coming, hear me yelling, hold the door, and he just drove off. Again, retaliation, right? That's what they do. Retaliation. Anyhow.
Everybody's got a mean streak a mile wide.
Yep.
I don't know why they do that, too.
I know.
Understand.
They do it to me all the time.
And sometimes they pull off and there's a red light right there. So the person just walks up like, what?
No, they do. They shut the door in my face as I'm right here on the bus stop. Let people off, shut the door in my face. You know, it is what it is.
But it's not just one, it's a lot of them, too.
Yeah, you know.
There's just a sense of being in the driver's seat kind of thing.
What it is that, particularly us as black people, we've been conditioned to not have humanity towards each other, not have concern, care. So, and religion plays a big part of it.
True.
Yeah, no, it's true. I'm not gonna lie, religion plays a big part of why we behave the way that we behave.
Yeah.
And when we reject everything about who we are as a people and accept the, I even know what the word, the misinterpretation of our spirituality that white people, Europeans took, reformatted into their way of thinking and give it back to us. So we treat each other as how they treat us. You know, we don't want to know anything about our spiritual system, which has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with us understanding who we are as a people, understanding nature, the creative forces of nature. This is why
and our place in it.
This is why we created science, math, philosophy, and the Europeans came, took it from us, hid it from us, and you know they've been hiding ever since. But now people beginning to wake up and begin to understand the truth. And you know, Christmas is just a co-opting of what we celebrated as the winter solstice.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
When we see this today in music, when we create things, what do?
Yeah.
They co-opt it. They take it over.
And give you thousands, and they get millions or billions.
Yeah, they but that's what. Listen, they have been using us as our bodies, our minds, as a source of revenue, and they continue to do so.
We're the surfboard.
We just cannot make that connection because of our conditioning, our programming.
And plus a couple million in our pockets, and we're happy.
Well, a few, not a lot, a very few, and to parade them and to say, oh, you can do it too, and we know that you can. And it's usually the people who are making those millions are athletes, entertainers. Yeah. There are very few business people, and the very few business black men and women who are like Oprah, Bob Johnson, people like Jay-Z. What are they doing for our community?
Well, the thing, Oprah famously said, you get a car, you get a car. But you also get an insurance every month. You get parking tickets, you get this, you get that.
But look at you.
But the other thing too about Oprah is she once said, when they said she's a billionaire, she said if it wasn't me, it was my accountant who did it. And I'm saying all those shows that she did, she never once brought the accountant to teach other people how to do what he's doing.
But the people in her audience were white people, the majority were white women, right?
And they didn't know about money either.
Well, yes, they did, because those white women that on her show, these are housewives who are married, who have husbands, who work, so they can afford that. We have a lack of knowledge, and again, we're very religious, but the very own Bible that they gave us say that my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, right? Because they have become too religious. Okay, that's what it says.
Ritual.
They have become too religious and too superstitious.
Right.
So these are the tools that white people use against us, and particularly when we ourselves are talking about, particularly our women talking about black girl magic, and and you can see that in some of their headlines when they promise black women money. They'll say, Our money, black girls magic. These are headings that they've had, they put in newspapers and media to say, well, black women are the largest group of women in America that spend the most, that buys more luxury items even than people who have the money to buy it.
Right.
Black women are the most in terms of buying luxury items. So they use words and terminologies against us because they understand the meaning of words, and words have power and how you use it, right? So again, I always tell people, I said, don't just take my word for it. Go look stuff up. Look up the etymology of certain words. Certain words that they've rephrased or give it a different meaning to hide the true meaning of it. I'll give you an example. If I used to be a Christian. My family is very Christian. Sisters, they all, but when they read in the Bible about, there's two words. The word virgin in those times never meant a person or a woman who never had intercourse, but the word virgin meant an unmarried or unwedded woman. So back then, that was the meaning, that you were unmarried, right? So they would call you a virgin, or the word commune. The word commune back then meaning, well, they were a community of homosexuals, men or women who were having sex with each other. So when you read in the Bible, two people communing, it doesn't mean that they're speaking. You understand what I'm saying? So we've been miseducated, indoctrinated with a backwards mindset, a reverse way of thinking.
We don't know the words.
We not only we don't know the words and their true meaning, but we don't know who we are, because our history, white people have hidden from us, right? So when they teach history, they talk about history in America through slavery, but they don't teach you about the founding people of Kemet, which they call Egypt today, who had the highest advanced civilization 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago, right? and how European came to be, how European white people came to be. But if you go into their DNA, you will see that they all have an African ancestors. Even the Chinese, the Japanese, the South Koreans, right? They know this. The Jews, these Jews, Europeans, white people have created the greatest con in many different areas to give themselves a place in history that does not belong to them, right? So the European Jews, they talk about Israel, they have no connection to people in those times who call themselves Hebrews or Israelites or Judeans. There was no Jew. The word Jew is an 18th century word created by the Europeans, white Europeans, right? From the Ashkenaz family. These are the Russian white people who adopted Judaism in the 8th century. So they
were never in the land.
They were never in that land, right? They were never in that land, and when other white people tried to expose them, they destroy their lives, So there's a book called People from the Caucasus Mountain by a Canadian scholar, right, a historian named, what's his name again? Anyway, I forgot his name, but he wrote a book. His book is called People of the Caucasus Mountain, right? And it talks about how these European Jews, how they co-opted it. So when we speak out against what they do and they call us anti-Semite, they're not even a Semitic people. We are Semitic people, right? Africans, Arabs, those are the Semitic people, not them. But they use it as a weapon.
We equate Jew with the outfit that they're wearing.
Right.
And not the skin and where they're actually from. Right.
And the fact is, like I said, Jew, back then, no one called themselves a Jew, right? That term was created in the 18th century. So even in the 8th century, which these people adopted Judaism, right? They would call themselves Hebrews, right? Not Jews. So Jew is just, and Jewish is just a relative new term. But because we don't know this, and also because we lack the fundamental understanding that these people played a big role in the transatlantic slave trade, because they were merchants, right? So they were the ones who would loan the ships, who would, create the banks, the money. And these people are directly responsible for that, right? And their own historians, they wrote books about it. And this is how ignorant we are. Because when they say to us, no, the Jews were not responsible. Yes, you were. There are books written by the Dutch Jewish settlers, right, in South America that said that and I have the book. They were the most brutal of slave owners. These people, their ancestors, okay, and because again they positioned themselves in certain aspect, finance, merchandising, all this stuff. This is why they control those areas, right? Hollywood, was it Kanye West that said that Jews own everything in Hollywood, and they chastised him for that? But he spoke the truth,
But everybody really knew that.
Yeah, but the thing is that we're so conditioned to see ourselves as less than because we lack the power in America, and it's purposely done. It's purposely done so that we will never have economic power to build what every other group and every other community of every other group has been doing.
Will always be red
But
lines.
we will always
Within our own minds.
not only be redlined, but we are being regressed in our minds, right?
Yeah,
You
within
look
our
at the
own
way our young people are today, it's
Yeah.
even worse.
Yeah.
We've been
It's-
conditioned with a backward mindset.
Yeah.
And when you wake up from that, the very few that do, and you speak out against it, they will do everything that they can to destroy you, so that you do not pass on that knowledge and that truth to other people, right? So our ignorance is what keeping them afloat. Our ignorance is what keep on feeding them, right? Financially, right? But we don't understand that. We're too ignorant to even want to, because religion plays a big part in that ignorance.